You might have heard the story of the husband and wife who gave each other the silent treatment for an entire week. At the end of the week, the husband declared, "You know, we've been getting along pretty good lately." We've probably all experienced the silent treatment at some time in our lives from someone even we love. Silence can be frustrating, but in some cases it might be a blessing. But the silent treatment that causes us the greatest anguish is when we experience the silence of God. Through the years, I have encountered what I call Pollyanna Christians. These well-intentioned folks are continually cheerful. They always greet me by expressing the oft-repeated phrase, "God is good all the time," which of course is true. But that does not mean my life is good all the time. I confess that Pollyanna Christians annoy me. For a while, I thought something must be wrong with me because constant happiness is not a consistent reality in my life or for the majority of people I've counseled over the years. I have a friend who very recently was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He told me when he prays, he doesn't feel like God is there. He is experiencing what countless believers have often described to me as the dark night of the soul. That phrase, the dark night of the soul, refers back to a poem written by the 16th century Christian mystic St. John of the Cross. In his poem, St. John describes the particularly difficult moments during his own journey towards God as being, in his words, the dark night. The dark night of the soul goes far beyond a momentary feeling of sadness or depression. It's a sense of total desperation that often causes a crisis of faith. It is a period of time in the life of a Christian in which he or she experiences the silence of God, a sense of abandonment from Him. But you may say in contrast, a Christian should never have a dark night of the soul. After all, don't we believe that Christ grants us peace that passes understanding and gives to us an indescribable joy? Isn't the fruit of the Spirit joy and peace? And so if so, then why do I have periods of despair? Why do I have moments with no peace? Does that mean Jesus doesn't live in my heart? During my years of pastoral experience, I have found Pollyanna Christians to be an anomaly, a deviation from the normal Christian life, because it is much more common for Christians, sometimes, though not always, during catastrophic moments, to experience the dark, harsh reality of the silence of God. So what do we do during these dreadful periods when we feel abandoned by God? When we cry out to Him and our cries seem to hit an impenetrable wall, or our prayers appear to flow from our mouths only to vanish in a dark, empty vacuum? The only answer I have is to learn from Jesus. One of the difficult sayings of Jesus is found in Matthew chapter 27, verse 46. About the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" As He was suspended on the cross, Jesus didn't exclaim, "God is good all the time." Rather, He cried, "My God, why have you abandoned me?" The masterful preacher Joel Gregory reminds us that it was during those hours when Jesus felt abandoned by God that God was at work redeeming the world. The suffering of Jesus, His cry of despair, His dark night of the soul, was the very means God was using to redeem humanity. I wonder, are you presently going through your own dark night of the soul? Could it be that even though God appears silent, He may actually be at work in your life? That's something to consider.